As Ron Monks throws out the first baseball as the Akron Blues will take on Zzano's of Lowell, Michigan, a team that went undefeated in this invitational tournament. The Akron Blues, on the other hand, made it to the championship game virtue of a wild card. They had to play 2 games today to make it to tonight's championship contest. My name's Don Ursetti, along with Tom Giffen, the icon of the Roy Hobbs League in the Akron area.
This is the icon that threw out the first pitch.
This is the very first Summit Seniors Invitational, and you've got 2 teams that played earlier this year, or earlier this tournament. Zzano's came out on top by a 1-0 score, so two teams pretty closely matched right now. Ron Piekarski on the mound for the Akron Blues, about ready to deliver the first pitch to left fielder Jerry Westdorp. Fastball high, and ball 1 as we're underway in the championship game of tonight's contest.
Westdorp's already hit 3 home runs today.
As a leadoff guy, Henderson's got nothing on him. He sends that one high to center field. Camping under it for the Akron Blues for out number 1 is Jim Wetzel. Obviously, Westdorp trying to start things off with a bang for Zzano's. Piekarski fed him a fastball, and he skied it to center field for out number 1. That brings up center fielder Jerry Uzaz. "34 years old, of course, the Summit Seniors, 30 and over. Piekarski's fastball high and inside for ball 1. Piekarski wheels and deals the 1-0 pitch, evens the count at 1-1. Nothing fancy with Piekarski. Simple fastball, curveball, changeup pitcher. The 1-1 pitch, bunted straight, and that's going to be a base hit for Uzaz, as Costal could not bounce out of the from behind the plate quickly enough to catch Uzaz. And I'll tell you, the infield kind of helped that bunt because it deadened as soon as it hit in front of the plate, Tom, and it was well placed where Piekarski couldn't recover and Costal couldn't pop out quickly enough to get Uzaz. 1 out, 1 on. Brings up first baseman Tony Stormzand, the epitome of Summit Seniors in this tournament, 51 years old. Fouled back. Short lead by Uzaz. Rango holding him on. Oh, 1 pitch. High and outside with the fastball. Evens it at 1-1. 1 out, 1 on, top of the first. Uzaz going, but it's fouled back by Stormzand, and Uzaz will be forced to return to first, and it'll be a 1-2 count upcoming to Stormzand.
Donnie, he's 5 for 11 for the tournament.
In the 3-hole, 51 years old. They're playing their 2nd game today. The Blues, as mentioned, playing their 3rd. Both are playing their 3rd. Piekarski holds Uzaz on after he took off on the 1-1 pitch. The 1-2 coming. Curveball, bounced toward Paroli at short. The dish got the force and the double play. Tim Hahn turns the 2, and the Blues get out of it with no run scored. 1 hit by Zzano's after a half inning of play. Zzano's no score. The Akron Blues coming to bat.
Got it?
Yeah.
All right, we're rolling.
Bottom of the first, upcoming, no score. 1 hit by Zzano's in the top of that inning. A bunt single by Jerry Uzaz. Leading it off for the Akron Blues is third baseman Bobby Baker, a lefty. On the mound for Zzano's is John Haney, right-hander. Shortstop Craig Worm way over towards second base for Baker, who fouls off the first offering by Haney.
Haney beat the Blues in the opening game of the tournament 1-0. It was a game which the Blues got 2 hits and Zzano's got 3.
Baker pounds it foul to the right side. Behind in the count 0-2.
And then Zzano also got the victory this afternoon in the semifinal against Sanchez, Lansing Sanchez. So he's already pitched 14 innings.
I was saying this wasn't exactly room temperature in Akron today. It was mighty warm again. 0-2, low and inside. Off-speed pitch that time, tried to get Baker to jump at a bad one. The 1-2 pitch to Baker. High and outside, another breaking ball. And fatigue might be setting in a little bit, or he just might be a little bit tight because his delivery way up top right now, especially on the breaking pitch, it's almost a telegraph.
Well, he's not throwing near as hard as he's thrown earlier. I mean, but the other secret for the old guys, hey, put the ball over the plate, let him hit it.
Check swing, Baker holds back, and it is a full count. Got behind 0-2 and has now taken Haney full. Haney attended a pharmacology university. You might want to come up with some kind of narcotic to get him through this game. Baker sends it bouncing towards second base. Easy play for Clemens, and it's out number 1 for the Akron Blues.
All you gotta do is say thank you. Thanks, Bubba. Baby! Hey, here we go, Daniels!
Another warm, dry evening in Akron, in Cuyahoga Falls to be exact. And this field shows the effects of the rainless or moistureless climes we've had. It is almost brown out here. As Buzz Paroli fouls off the first pitch by Haney, 0-1. North High School, Buzz Paroli.
He's been just killing the ball in our league, but the irony of this is he's only 2 for 12 in this tournament.
I heard he's been hitting the ball. It's just been hitting Adams. 0-1. High and inside. Paroli spins out of the way. That was a breaking pitch, and again, no bite at all on the breaking ball from Haney. 1-1. Paroli sends it toward the hole. It's short. The long throw, short hop nicely by the first baseman, Stormson. 2 outs for the Blues. Nice play by Craig Worm. Did you call that a worm burner? Sorry.
Nice guy. Now, again, it's the whole story of senior baseball. If you throw strikes and you got good defense behind you, you win the ball game. And both of these teams are very capable of playing airless ball all the way.
Second baseman Tim Hahn, a lefty, steps in for the Blues. 2 outs. And he sends it toward the gap in left center field. Left fielder trailed, knocks it down. That was Westhoff running that one down in left field.
Right at the track.
And 3 up and 3 down for the Blues in the bottom of the first. No score. Heading into the top of the first inning, no score.
You mean the top of the second?
Top of the second, what did I say?
This amateur hour, you said top of the first. Let's go to the hitter, Donnie. We'll catch this stuff between the next inning.
And leading off for Zzano's in the top of the second inning is the catcher Phil Merrill. Pikarski still on the mound for the Blues as Merrill steps out. by Karski. His first pitch is bounced towards second. Hahn over to Rango for the easy out. A lot of ground balls thrown by Karski. Keeps the ball low.
Keeps the ball down, and he throws strikes. He's already thrown one game in this tournament. He beat Cleveland Seckler. That was a 7-0 shutout yesterday afternoon.
And I've only seen an inning and a half of this tournament, but I think that is the whole key, Tom. Just let him put the bat on the ball. There are some inviting alleys here, 315 down each line, 345 in the power alleys. And the pitcher, John Haney, sends one high toward left. Ronnie DeGrand right near the line, puts it away for out number 2.
What's that, 3 pitches and 2 outs?
Yep. Brings up the shortstop, Craig Worm. Worm attended Grand Valley State and Grand Rapids Junior College. 39 years old. Two out, top of the second, no score, and Worm squared to bunt, pulled it back, takes it ball 1.
He's only 1 for 7 for the tournament, but he's walked 4 times and stole just a slew of bases. And if he's on, he's a threat to go in at any time for any base.
Karski finds the outside corner across the knees to even the count at 1-1. Very easy motion by Karski, a little bit deceiving. That one a little bit low on outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ball 3 into the dirt. 3 balls, 1 strike. First time that Karski's gone this deep in the count on anybody. Piercefield on deck for Zzano's. 3-1 pitch. And it's hit hard toward left field, but Rango right there, and he misses it. He just flat dropped it as Worm heads to second base, and the throw-in is cut off by Paroli and a 2-base error. Worm stands on second base. I don't know if the ball knuckled it all. I think Rango just took his eye off it, kind of took it for granted.
DeGrand. Rango's going to love you when he sees this tape.
Sorry, he's got him in the Hall of Fame. But DeGrand, it was an atom. He tracked it down. I just think he just took his eye off of it. So an opportunity for Zzano's in the top of the second as Piercefield steps in. He's the right fielder. 2 out, 1 on. Ball was hit hard by Worm, but DeGrand just had a beat on it.
It looked like it hit the heel of his glove.
Curveball is hit hard to center field, but right at Wetzel, and he puts it away to win the threat, and after an inning and a half, no score. Rich Rango leads for the Akron Blues. No score. Blues went 3 up, 3 down in the top of the first. Rango provided the punch for the Blues in this tournament as he takes ball 1.
Yeah, Rango 7 for 10, 5 runs scored, and a double and a home run.
He's wore out that fence a couple of times in this tournament. As he sends a grounder toward Worm at short, fields it, the long throw, out number 1.
And watching Worm during the tournament, he may not hit the ball very well, but he certainly covers the ground at short. He's made a couple of real nice plays with his back to the infield.
It's really all you need, especially in this league, just a solid middle, especially at shortstop. You don't need someone to hit. You don't need any Honus Wagners. You need more Tom Giffens.
I'm not sure that's the case for anybody.
Ron DeGrand, the left fielder, steps in with 1 out. DeGrand, a Kent Stater. Haney wheels and deals. And a base hit into left field. DeGrand finds the hole, and Knocks it into left field for a base hit, atoning for that little miscue in left field in the top of the second inning. So the Blues have a runner on with one out, and it brings up John Sarver, who is pinch hitting for Ron Piekarski.
Yeah, the way we're set up is Piekarski's not going to hit, and the Blues pitchers rarely hit, and they just use a pinch hitter in that slot, and he ends up staying in that slot as a designated hitter.
Sarver, a pitcher himself, steps in and takes strike one. In fact, I think Sarver pitched one of the 3 games that the Blues had today, if I'm not mistaken. And he's hasn't hit the ball badly at all in this tournament, as he takes that one inside, hits the deck. 1-1. Graduate of Ellett. And he also attended Austin Peay in the Ohio Valley Conference. The 1-1, swing and a miss, strike 2. DeGrand with a short lead at first. Outfielders straight away. The 1-2. Off speed, high to even the count. Haney shakes off one, fires a fastball right down the pipe, a high pop-up lifted foul, and Stormzand not able to catch up to it. So Sarver gets another chance. About this time, the legs got to feel a little bit heavy playing 3 games in one day in this tournament.
Yeah, indeed. Sarver pitched against Sanchez this morning in a 17-5 victory, so he didn't have to work real hard in that. And he also homered and doubled in that game.
The 2-2. Sarver hits it towards center field. Could drop in. It does. And a nice job by center fielder Jerry Uzaz to keep that ball in front of him. Almost was able to force DeGrand out at second base as the Texas leaguer by Sarver drops in to give the Blues 2 on, 1 out, and it brings up John Hoover, the right fielder. Hoover can lose it if he gets into it.
Yeah, he certainly can. He's 4 for 10 so far in the tournament with a couple RBIs.
Bottom of the second inning. No score, but a legitimate threat by the Blues in this bottom of the second. Curveball drops over for strike 1. That's the best bite that Haney's had on a breaking ball thus far. Someone's allergic to baseball. Bouncing ball toward Worm, short, could be 2. The turn, and no. Stormzand not able to stretch and get the short hop, and Hoover comes up hobbling at first base. Sarver was erased on the force at second. DeGrand able to move to third. Ball wasn't hit all that hard, Tom, but still a legitimate chance for a double play. Clemens just a little bit off balance on his pivot.
Yeah, he had nothing in it except arm, and when you're 40 years old and you're trying to arm it from second to first, it takes a long time for that ball to get there, and it's got this funny looking arc on it.
Hoover's going to have to leave. He comes up, I think he pulled a hamstring. I think he pulled up halfway down, and the fact that he was able to beat the throw to first is an indication of just how poorly the ball was thrown on the pivot. And again, Clemens had Sarver bearing down on him. It was a tough turn. Carl Rakic will step in. He's the extra hitter, one of the extra hitters for the Blues. We'll check who the pinch runner is for.
It's Timmy Hahn.
Timmy Hahn is pinch running. And Rakic sends one toward the gap in right field, but the right fielder, Jim Piercefield, leans down to pick it off the grass, and the threat ends with no score for the Blues. No runs on 2 hits. 2 left, and after 2, no score.
And we started this tournament yesterday morning, Donnie, at 4 sites. here in Akron, and scores in the tournament. At the first round yesterday morning, Lansing, Michigan Sanchez, which plays in the same league with Lowell, beat Moore's Tavern of Bedford, Ohio. They're from the Cleveland League, 3-0. And of course, Zzano's beat the Blues 1-0 in what was an hour and 15 minutes, and folks said it was a great game. Those who went and saw it. And then another first round game, the Richmond White Sox from the Akron League beat the Summit Cubs 13-3. Then we go on here, and the Cleveland Reds beat Chicago 7-6 in an 8-inning game. Sanchez came back and beat the Akron A's 19-0. The Akron Blues beat Seckler and Associates, another Cleveland team, 7-0. Zzano's in their second game yesterday beat Moore's Tavern 14-5. And completing the day in the 4:30 round of games, the Cleveland Reds beat the Summit Cubs 6-4. The White Sox beat Chicago 12-2, and the Akron A's came back from that 19-0 loss to beat Seckler 9-7. This morning, Zzano's beat Seckler 9-1. The Summit Cubs beat Chicago 11-4. The White Sox beat the Cleveland Reds 12-3, and the Blues beat Lansing 17-5. And Moore's Tavern of Bedford beat the Akron A's 4-3, which set up the semifinals, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
And leading it off in the top of the third inning for Zzano's is the second baseman, Phil Clemens. Carl Rakich has now taken over at second base. Tim Hahn has moved to right field for the injured John Hoover, as Piekarski wheels and deals low in the dirt to Clemens, the second baseman. His first at bat. That's over the inside corner with the fastball, and Clemens takes a good long look at that one, not necessarily in agreement. The 1-1 pitch is grounded toward Paroli at short. Gets a nice hop, throws across for out number 1. By the way, the umpires for the Seedings Championship game behind the plate is Ron Reed, Bob Spangler at first base, Denny Smith at second, and Dave Buttermore at third base. Four-man crew, nothing but the best for these guys, huh, Tom?
Hey, you like to hear stuff like that. Now, if we could just get them agreed to do four-man crews for all of our games at the same price.
Oh, my. Even politics and umpiring. That's a shame. The first pitch from Piekarski to Dykema is nubbed towards second base. Rakich able to dig it out and throw across for out number 2. That brings up Al Baird, the extra hitter. In the profiles that we received from the manager of Zzano's, we've gotten Michigan State. The guy played at Michigan State, Central Michigan. Al Baird, a product of the Lowell cow pastures. That's what it says here. And he sends that one in a big hop to Rakich, who erases him for the third out in the inning. Piekarski throws 3 ground balls on just 6 pitches to get out of that inning. 3 up, 3 down, end of 2.5, no score. We go to the bottom of the third inning, and our videographer, John Dix, a member of the Orioles in the Roy Hobbs League in Akron, providing his own play-by-play. He, too, a product of some cow pasture, of which we don't know. Let's just say that it wasn't a cow that he sounded like. And a base hit to center field by the leadoff hitter, Jim Wetzel. And Wetzel, again, giving the Blues the opportunity to get something started. They had a golden opportunity in the second inning with 2 out, with 2 on and 1 out, and unable to get a run across. Carl Rakich, robbed of a base hit by Jim Piercefield as he lined one to right field. He plucked it off the top of whatever grass is left in right field to end the inning and the threat. Brings up Dan Kostel, short lead by Wetzel. He squares the bunt, doesn't bite, and Merrill tries to pick Wetzel off first base, but his throw way late. Kostel about to accept the 1-0 pitch, squares the bunt, drags down the first baseline, and it rolls foul. The way he attacked that bunt almost looked like he was trying to drag it for a hit.
Wetzel was all the way around second base.
I wonder if, with 1-1 count, no score, you might try a hit and run here. Wetzel, 4-step lead off first base, and Haney fires over and he has to dive back in safe. Obviously, Wetzel on Haney's mind, thinking he might be off on the pitch. Dan Costel, a longtime veteran of the Akron AA leagues. An all-star numerous times in that league with the Red Peppers and Akron Insulating. The 1-1 pitch, low, 2-1. It's a good opportunity to run here on this pitch, Tom. What would you do if you were managing?
Oh, you got to make something happen. Be aggressive, and Wetzel won't hurt you on the base pass.
Whoa. I don't know about that. Was an awfully quick move to first. I don't know if he was set.
Well, I think Haney's thinking the same thing.
Costel bounces it slowly toward third. They'll try to get the force at second and do so. Clemens won't even attempt the pivot to first base, but Wetzel is forced at second base. Costel safe on the fielder's choice. 1 out, 1 on for Spencer Nakaguma, one of the extra hitters for the Akron Blues. Nice play by Dykema. Third baseman kept his head, and good communication by Zzano let him know immediately to go to second base on the throw after the slowly hit ball.
Well, we got Spencer Nakaguma at the plate now. He's actually a member of the Pirates in the Summit Senior Baseball, and he's one of the pickups that each team in the tournament's allowed. This is Spencer's third league in 3 years, I believe. 2 years ago, he was playing in San Francisco in the Bay Area League, and a year ago, he was playing in Oregon, and now he's here in Northeast Ohio. He lives in Canton, works up north of Akron here at Century Products. So he's been a delightful addition, and we're glad to have him.
We'll just move his pin on the map. Carl Rakic has gone over to first base as a courtesy runner. He made the last out in the bottom of the second inning, and whoever makes the last out in the prior inning becomes the courtesy runner.
Actually, it's the last batted out, and he was the last hitter to make an out.
Nakaguma fouls it off to the right side.
Not only Nakaguma kind of a class player as an infielder, he can pitch, he can catch, he can do just about everything. He hits the ball real well, but he's really added a perspective to us in what we've been trying to do with this league.
Rakic is short lead at first. Strike two. The knees and the corner.
Hey, you know, somebody 50 feet away didn't agree.
One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Rakic at first. Short lead. Haney's curve way up high. Evens it at 2-2. Leadoff hitter Bobby Baker awaits on deck. No score in the bottom of the third inning of this championship game of the Summit Seniors Invitational. And Nakaguma sends a bouncing ball to first base that came up on a high erratic hop to the first baseman Stormzand, and his throw to force Rakic at second base, low and off the bag, and Worm couldn't handle it. It bounced away. The throwing error on Stormzand allows Rakic to move to second. On the fielder's choice at first base is Nakaguma, and another opportunity for the Akron Blues. 2 out, 1 on, rather 2 on, 1 out.
It's too bad they didn't get at least 1 out on that, because Stormzand really made a nice play on a ball that really came up on him.
That was a tough hop. As soon as it hit the dirt part of the infield, it really bounced up. Pickoff play on Rakic back as Worm tried to sneak in behind him. Bobby Baker grounded out to the second baseman to lead off the bottom of the first for the Akron Blues. Two on, 1 out, and Baker sends it foul to the left side.
That looks like a poison ivy ball to me.
And I suppose you're going to go get it. Get it. Budget. Budget is everything.
Wrong.
Tell me about it. I asked you what you were going to pay me for that. I'm kidding.
And here it is. Right
All right,
there.
thank you so much. Baker tries to cross him up with a bunt, and it rolls foul. Not much is going to hold on this field. It's not a whole lot to grab a bunt. It's just going to be like a pool table. We got no score in the championship game of the Summer Senior Invitational, the inaugural event here at Waterworks Park in Cuyahoga Falls. Zzano's of Lowell, Michigan against the Akron Blues. Bobby Baker, the leadoff hitter for the Blues. 2 to count. 2 on, 1 out. Haney, curveball is slapped toward left field, curving away from the left fielder, but Westdorf able to flag it down, and another good defensive play by Zzano's, robbing a Blues player of a base hit and stifling a rally. 2 out now as Westdorf almost was able to nail Rakic, who was trailing off of second base. Rakic went diving back to the bag safely, but with 2 out and 2 on, it brings up Buzz Paroli. Grounded the shortstop, his first appearance. Paroli, a member of the Greater Akron Baseball Hall of Fame. Curveball, a little bit high. Paroli sends it high to right field. Piercefield coming hard, still coming hard, and it drops in front of him. Rakic will score, making the turn and headed for home is Nakaguma, and making it all the way around to third base is Paroli. You got to give him a triple on the play. Piercefield just couldn't, there is a little bit of a breeze blowing in from right center field. It might have caught it, pushed it back toward the infield. Piercefield just could not catch up to it, and it bounced in front of him and then got away from him and allowed Paroli to move all the way around to third base. Now, you're the official scorer in this puppy. What are you giving him?
I give him a triple. I'm still trying to look down there through the fence. It was your idea to sit over here.
More shade. More shade. So Paroli, with a triple, however tainted, scores 2, and it brings up Tim Hahn.
Tainted triple, TT.
Strike 1 over the outside corner.
Come on, Tim, give it a ride.
Hahn gives Reed a long look. Home plate out. Haney to the belt, outside with the fastball.
Well, at least the Blues field manager, Dick Schoonover, got some business that time. He was waving his arms like a windmill as folks came around in third.
And you thought it was mosquitoes.
It hasn't rained yet, Donnie.
1-1 count to Hahn, curveball just outside. Paroli ranging off third. He drove in 2 runs with a triple to right, giving the Blues first blood, 2-0. Outside, and a nice stop by Merrill. 3-1. Up too high, ball 4. Hahn draws the walk. 2 on, 2 out, 2 runs across in this bottom of the third inning. Brings up the cleanup hitter, Rich Rango. He grounded to the shortstop Worm in the bottom of the second inning as he led off that inning. Curveball drops low, ball one. Haney took a quick glance toward the Zzano's dugout. High with the pitch, ball two. Might be tiring a little bit. He has thrown a lot of pitches. He's gotten out of a couple of jams, but not this time. And he might be flagging a little bit.
And he's thrown a lot of innings in 2 days.
And I don't care if you're 27. This heat gets debilitating after a while. It can just drain you of all energy as the day wears on. Rango will await the 2-0 pitch as Hahn is sent back to first base on a throw from Haney. The 2-0 pitch. High pop-up, out of play. And some little kid almost got an unwanted souvenir on top of the head.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? What's up, man?
That's one of Zano's players' sons. I think the catcher was yelling at him.
2-1 pitch. Rango swings and misses. The throw to first base, and just getting under the tag is Hahn. Second time Merrill's tried to catch someone napping. 2 runs across for the Blues on a triple by Paroli. Scored Nakaguma and Rakic. It was a courtesy runner. Curveball is sent toward the hole and into left field. An RBI single for Rango as Paroli crosses. 3-0, Akron Blues. Hahn stops at second on the base hit as Rango continues to batter the baseball in this tournament. It'll bring up Ron DeGrand, who singled his first time up.
Okay, DeGrand runs 6 for 11 in the tournament with 7 runs scored and 5 RBIs, a double and a home run. That's productive.
Middle of this order has been productive. In the dirt on the curve. Another pitch in the dirt. Ball 2. All these runs scored with 2 out. That one's a little bit low to DeGrand. 3-0. Haney a long look into Ron Reed and then asks him if indeed it was low because he knew it was over the plate. 3-0. See if he gets the green light from Dick Schoonover. Nope. Takes it right down the pipe. 3-1. Hahn at second, Rango at first. 2 out, 3 runs across for the Akron Blues in the bottom of the third inning. First 3 runs of the ball game as DeGrand steps out. Sarver awaits on deck. The 3-1 pitch to Ron DeGrand. Foul tipped off the catcher's glove. Full count. Hahn and Rango will be moving on the pitch. There is a little bit of a breeze that makes it somewhat tolerable here at Waterworks Park this afternoon.
It's a little tough on that hitter, too, because the sun's coming right down the first baseline, right in their faces.
Short pop-up towards shortstop. Worm right there, puts it away, but the Akron Blues come up with 3 runs on 2 hits. 3 hits, 1 error, and 2 left on after the End of 3 innings. It's the Akron Blues 3, Zzano's of Lowell, Michigan, nothing. As we enter the top of the 4th inning, the Akron Blues jump out on top, 3-0. The big blow, a 2-run triple by Buzz Paroli, scored 2 runs.
We were told between innings that the right fielder was Meyer and not Piercefield because they switched back and forth in the free substitution.
And Myers leads off this inning with a hot shot toward Paroli off his glove, rolls into short left field, and Myers, doesn't matter what position he's playing, he belted that one. What are you going to give him, official scorer?
E6.
Heartless. So Myers leads off the inning. Aboard on the error by Paroli. Westdorf the batter. Swing and a miss.
I've seen him play 2 games today, and I haven't seen him do that yet.
Ron Piekarski so far has thrown blanks through 3 innings. That one is fouled just past the third base coach. The Blues got someone warming up down in the bullpen, down the left field line. That's Frank Smolinski. Piekarski looks in, runner aboard, nobody out, top of the 4th. Hitting the gap in left center field, that'll reach the fence. Myers around second, he's being waved around to third. Paroli will fire the relay to third base, and it gets through into the Blues dugout. So a triple for Westdorf, and he comes home on the second error of the inning by Paroli. This one, the throwing variety. And just that quickly, Zzano's back in it with 2 runs. Westdorf nailed the ball into the left center field gap. A triple, and then scores on the throwing error by Paroli. So nobody out, and Jerry Uzaz, the center fielder, steps in against Piekarski. Off-speed pitch runs high. Uzaz looks at ball 2, low and inside. Stormzand awaits on deck. Down too low.
Well, that gives Westdorf 9 hits in the tournament, including 3 home runs, a double, and a triple.
Strike 1 on the 3-0 pitch from Piekarski to Jerry Uzaz, who singled in the first inning, then was erased on a double play. Reaches out and bounces it slowly towards second. Rakich scoops it up, fires the first in time to get Uzaz by a step for the first out of the inning. It'll bring up Tony Stormzand, the first baseman. Seven ground ball outs thrown by Piekarski through 3 1/3 innings of play. Stormzand swings and misses at a curve.
When they go back out, will you keep an eye on fellas who go to right field?
Fastball, strike 2 over the letters, outside corner. Stormzan grounded into an inning-ending double play in the first inning. Behind in the count, 0-2, and the curveball misses outside, and Stormzan almost went fishing for that. Had visions of Corey Snyder dancing in my head. The 1-2, outside, evens at 2-2, the count. 1 out, 2 runs across for Zzano's to close within a run of the Akron Blues here in the top of the 4th inning. Stormzan will bounce it past Piekarski. Paroli has to hurry to first in time. Stormzan not exactly going to challenge Ricky Henderson down the first baseline. Paroli had plenty of time to get him by 2 steps after the slow grounder got past Piekarski.
I had to laugh at your comment about Corey Snyder, because if I recall, Corey Snyder was a pretty fair hitter when he was using aluminum bats too.
Aluminum bats, my pet peeve. Let's not get into that. I will never really get used to the romantic ping of the bat. And an unintentional swinging bunt by catcher Phil Merrill. Went to check a swing on a low curve and bounced it off the plate. It rolled foul. Costello pounced on it, but by that time it already had rolled into foul territory. Piekarski gets ahead 0-1 on Phil Merrill, who grounded to the second baseman his first trip. Piekarski's fastball is fouled off to the right side, and Merrill would love to have had that one back. After he fouled that one away, he kind of stomped his foot in frustration. That was one he wanted back. And Merrill bounces to Paroli, who fires across to end the inning. But the Blues score 2 runs on 1 hit, 2 errors in the inning. And after 3.5 innings of play, the score, the Akron Blues 3, Zzano's of Lowell, Michigan 2. Moving, into the bottom of the 4th inning, my mistake as we broke. That was Zzano scoring 2 runs. I'm not used to keeping my own book. Sarver will lead off the bottom of the 4th. He's the pinch hitter for the pitcher Ron Piekarski, and Sarver singled to lead off the 2nd inning. And Haney, his first pitch is nailed into left field. 2 for 2 for John Sarver, a solid shot into left field to lead off the inning for the Blues, who lead it 3-2 through 3.5.
Okay, now we got Paul Gramsa coming to the plate. He took Hoover's spot in the lineup as a designated hitter. Hoover was in right, and Timmy Hahn went out to right from second, and Carl Rakic, who was a designated hitter, moved into that second base slot. Gramsa is also off the Pirates. He's one of the players that they picked up.
And almost picked off at first base with Sarver. Good move to first by Haney, and I think he felt he had Sarver dead to rights. Walks off the mound, rubbing the ball, and takes a good long look at Bob Spangler, the first base umpire. Gramsa played college ball at the University of Buffalo and played in the Buffalo AA League, and he puts down a beauty on the sacrifice attempt, and Gramsa is thrown out by Dykema, but he did his job nicely, laid it down beautifully to sacrifice Sarver to second base. Brings up Carl Rakic. Rakic robbed of a base hit by Myers, picking the ball off the grass to stifle a rally.
I've watched Dykema at third base a couple of games today, and he didn't make any mistakes. He makes some nice plays on that. Most third basemen in our league would have had a very difficult time making that play.
Curveball by Haney. A little bit high to Rakic. Rakic fouls it off left side. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, Sarver standing on second base, the Blues standing on a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 4th inning. Haney looks in, the 1-1, curveball is nailed into the left center field gap, but Westdorf camps under it, makes the catch and fires it into third base. It gets by the third baseman Dykema, but Haney there to back him up. Out number 2.
Way to hit the ball, Carl. The wind pulled it back in. Grab, Carl.
He got all of that. He really drove it, but Westdorf got back on it quick and was in position to make the throw.
Jim Wetzel, the center fielder, steps in. He's got a single on the evening. 2 out, runner on base. Haney's curve looked like a knuckle curve that time.
Wetzel was the leading hitter in our league last year, and he's been off to a real slow start this year, but in the term he seems to be getting it back. He's 4 for 8 coming in today, and he's already got a hit, so he's stroking the ball again.
It's nice to have a guy that deep in your order being able to hit the ball like that. Fastball's fouled off.
Well, to show you the depth of the league, he batted 3 and 4 last year on our team, and the quality of the competition certainly has improved, and the Blues have had a lot to do with that.
And they are one of the older teams in the league. These aren't the guys that are 31 and 32. The curveball knocked right toward Worman. Short bobbles it, comes up firing, but not in time to get Wetzel, who legs it out. One of the few miscues by Worm on the afternoon. That one came up pretty cleanly to him. He just bobbled it, and that gave Wetzel enough time to leg it out. Sarver moves over to third base, and that brings up the catcher, Dan Kostel, who reached on a fielder's choice. His first at-bat. First and third, 2 out. Haney deals high to Kostel. Kostel, a golf coach at Cuyahoga Falls High School. He hits a hard, deep fly ball to left field, and it goes off the top of the fence. Sarver will score, and lugging his way into third base is Wetzel, and Kostel into second base with a stand-up double. 18 inches away from a 3-run homer, and he nailed that one. A high, hard line drive off the top of the fence. And that was trouble from the get-go.
I really thought it had a chance of getting out of here at first, but that wind is coming in.
That one was going to cheat the wind one way or another. That one kind of got under the radar a little bit. That was just a hard, high line drive. Brings up Spencer Nakaguma, and all 4 runs scored by the Blues with 2 out.
Man coming in to run for Kostel.
Got a pinch or a courtesy runner for Kostel, and that looks like Carl Rakich again, who's logging a few miles here this afternoon.
Come on, Stan.
Carl better quit making the last batted out. Nakaguma with a chance to bring 2 in with a base hit. With 2 out. Takes it low. He reached on a fielder's choice in the third. Haney to the belt. Low. 2 balls, no strikes. Haney looks in to Merrill. The 0-2 pitch takes a strike. Fastball across the knees.
Johnny, 2-1 now.
I like that kind of discipline. 2-0, you're kind of chomping at the bit. But with 2 guys on and your leadoff hitter up next, you're going to get the best pitch you can. And he bounces it up the middle into center field, a base hit. Wetzel will score around third. And coming into home to score is Carl Rakich, and a 2-run single. by Spencer Nakaguma gives the Blues its third run of the evening and extends their lead to 6-2. Carl Rakic kicking up some dust on a slide home. Don't know if it's really necessary, but it's going to look mighty good on videotape, isn't it?
Oh yeah, when you're the last batted out and you get a chance to run, you you work at things like that. You know, like Avis, we try harder.
I think he's going to get a poster made of that. Merrill goes out to settle down Haney once again. All the runs scored by the Blues this evening after 2 outs. Spencer Nakaguma with a clutch 2-run single. Leadoff batter Bobby Baker, 0 for 2, grounded to the second baseman in the first and hit a hard shot to the left fielder in the third.
Come on, Baker. Get the ball, Baker.
Nakaguma short lead off first. Bluff's going, and Baker takes a curveball for a strike.
We got nothing in 2.
Third baseman Baker. Played the Akron Sandlots a long time. Played at Kent State in the Akron AA League. Once again, Nakaguma bluffs, and Merrill come up in approved throwing position but held back. Haney stepped off the rubber. Now sets and delivers. Curveball is flied into left center field and coming a long way to gather it in as Steve Westdorf. But that ends the inning, but not before the Blues tally 3 more on 3 hits. An error in the inning and 1 left on through 4 complete. It is the Akron Blues 6, Zzano's of Lowell, Michigan 2. Top of the 5th inning, the pitcher, John Haney, leads off and takes ball 1. Fastball outside. Haney flew out to the left fielder DeGrand in the 2nd inning. Pikarski throws it low and outside, 2-0. As my partner comes back without a cold pop.
You didn't tell me what you wanted. You told me to
What do
get
you
my
think?
kid.
I told you to get your kid to get me a pop, and since you got your butt up, I figured why not? But no. 2-0 coming to Haney, and he skies it foul toward the right side into the parking lot. And no, I don't know how that happens, but it never seems to hit a car except mine.
Hey, Mac.
2-1. 2-1 coming to Haney. Curve is inside, and Haney takes the count to 3-1. Pikarski delivers, and a fly ball to center field. And Wetzel barely had to move as he played Haney straight away and fairly deep to center, and that is out in number 1 in the top of the 5th of this 7-inning ball game. Brings up the shortstop Craig Worm, who reached on a 2-base error by Ron DeGrand in the 2nd inning. Hit the ball hard, but right at DeGrand, who just couldn't glove it. Popped out of his mitt, and no harm done, though, as Worm was stranded at second base in that 2nd inning. Pikarski's fastball misses outside. 1-0 to Worm. 6-2, the Akron Blues leading Zzano's in the championship of the Summit Seniors Invitational. Pikarski delivers right down the middle. 2 balls, 1 strike. The count on Worm. That one's a little bit low. 3-1 to Craig Worm. Former former Chippewa, attended Central Michigan, and takes strike 2. Count full to Craig Worm. And he lines it through the hole between Rakic and Rango, a base hit to right field for Worm. A one-out single by Worm brings up, I believe, Myers for Zzano's. Is this Piercefield?
Piercefield.
Those two alternating in the lineup for Zzano's.
In right field.
In right. Piercefield, pretty big boy. Curveball slapped up the middle into center field. Worm takes the turn at second. He'll move to third as the ball gets away from Wetzel. And they'll hold Worm at third as the relay comes into Rakic. So Piercefield delivers a one-out single up the middle. Worm stops at third base. So 1 out and 2 on. And that will bring up second baseman Phil Clements. He grounded out to the shortstop, his first at bat to lead off the top of the third inning. And you cannot count out Zzano's. They are a resilient bunch. And Dick Schoonover out to talk to Ron Piekarski, and that could be it for Piekarski. Indeed, he'll flip it to Frank Smolinski. While we have an opportunity, we'll get the totals on Piekarski. Tell you what, Tom, a nice crowd for this championship game, for this inaugural event of this tournament. And I think that is indicative of the kind of work that you and your committee did in planning this. There's a lot of distractions on this 4th of July weekend, and you were able to, I think, come the class act. I think this is a very nice event, and I think that this is only going to get bigger and better as the Roy Hobbs and the senior baseball teams get bigger and better around Akron. I know you're certainly trying your best to enhance senior baseball in this area. One, trying to get a little short, fat Italian off of his butt on North Hill to play, but talk to my doctor.
Well, we might do that. No, it's we hope this will be an annual event, although we might not do it on this weekend next year. We had a lot of people put a lot of time and effort into this. Dave Murray was tournament director, and Carl Rakic's wife, Jean, just phenomenal effort. Bubba Claflin, who manages the Orioles. I mean, just a whole bunch of people. Tom Bovington, Tom Costigan, Tommy Alio, Dennis Haluko, Spencer Nakaguma and his wife Naomi, Paul Gramza. I mean, just a bunch of people. The umpires helped out. As you look around this crowd, one of the interesting things you look around in the crowd is we did 3 umpires on the games yesterday. We can only do 2 this morning because we had so many sites. But everybody appreciated having 3 umpires. But if you look around the crowd, almost every umpire that worked this tournament is somewhere in the crowd here watching. Either if they're not working the game out on the field, they're in the crowd watching and eating hot dogs and drinking Cokes. And I think that speaks well for what we're trying to do, because those people want to come out and watch us play. Because, I mean, they've had enough time in the sun having to do that.
Also shows you that umpires don't have many friends. They don't get out much. Frank Smolinski in relief of Piekarski and watching him warm up. He likes the breaking ball. He'll float it up there. Piekarski gave up 4 hits in 4 1/3 innings for the Blues, and I believe those 2 runs were unearned, as Clemens hits a high bouncer. Paroli makes a nice backhanded stop of a high bounce and flips to Rakic to just nip Piercefield, diving headfirst into second base. Worm scores on the bouncer to Paroli, but that could have been a lot worse for the Akron Blues. Paroli made a nice stab of another ball that came up high off this hard infield. Clements reaches on the fielder's choice. 2 out, a run across, and John Dykema, the third baseman, steps up. He grounded out to the second baseman his first time up, and I believe Merrill will be a courtesy runner for Clements at first base. We cannot see absolutely certain if that's the case. Smolinski fires a fastball. Tell you what, he can bring it.
That is Merrill. Merrill down at first base.
Smolinski checks out Merrill at first. Delivers the curveball that is chopped into the dirt. Foul. And the umpire wants to see the ball. Smolinski knew that one probably got scuffed up a tad on that chop into the dirt. Wanted to see if he could get away with something. Costal gives Reed a little tap in the mask as he comes back behind him. I'm sure that they've had a lot of games behind the plate together in the past 25 years. Ooh, Smolinski just misses outside. I believe the count's 1-2. I lost track. Why doesn't that surprise me? Merrill short lead off first. The curve is chopped and got a little bit of home plate umpire Reed.
Dykeman was a little out front on that, but Smolinski's primarily a fastball pitcher. He sets up his curve with the fastball, and he comes in. When he comes in with the curve, he tends to get you off balance.
No doubt about it. Dykeman on his front foot on that one. And did he check? Yes, he did. Dykeman barely able to hold up on that high hard one.
The first base umpire said no dice.
Bob Spangler once again scrutinized, this time by the Blues dugout. He had gotten an earful from the Zzano's dugout earlier.
Well, as Dykeman turned around and had a laugh with the Blues dugout too.
Smolinski makes Dykeman sky one to center field, and coming hard to make the catch is Wetzel. That got more interesting than I originally thought it was going to be. But the wind that we have here is stronger than we anticipated. We've seen a couple of balls pushed back toward the infield that have made some pop-ups very adventurous. For the Zzano's team, a run on 2 hits. A runner left after 4.5 innings of play. The Akron Blues 6, Zzano's 3.
All right, we'll close the book on Ron Pekarski. 4 1/3 innings, 18 batters faced, 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, no walks. Real crucial, no walks, but then no strikeouts. Everybody's hitting the ball, but the people behind him are making the plays.
You can close the book on John Haney for Zzano's as well, as Mike Cox comes in to pitch for Zzano's. The Akron Blues will greet Cox with Jim Paroli leading off the bottom of the 5th inning. They have a 6-3 lead. And we'll take a break and be back with the bottom of the 5th inning. Welcome back to the bottom of the 5th inning of this championship game in the Summit Seniors Invitational. The Akron Blues leading Zzano 6-3. Jim Paroli steps in against Mike Cox, the new pitcher for Zzano's. We'll give you the numbers on John Haney in a moment as Cox delivers low in the dirt, ball 1.
Haney finished up giving up 8 hits in 4 innings, 1 walk, no strikeouts, but all 6 of the runs were unearned.
That's a killer. Cox again comes down low for ball 2.
Okay, Donnie, Haney's staying in the game. He's at first replacing Stormson.
Paroli pops one right over John Dix's head as his life flashed before him. John Dix, the videographer tonight, a player in the Roy Hobbs League with the Orioles, told me all of his stats before the game. I was impressed.
Cox pitched the second game yesterday for Lowell when they beat Moores 14-5.
Once again, Cox comes down low to Paroli. And Paroli will draw the walk. to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning for the Akron Blues. Paroli delivered the RBI triple in the 3rd inning to score the first 2 runs of the ball game. That'll bring up Tim Hahn, the second baseman. He's now playing right field. He is 0 for 1. Paroli sent back to first base on a throw to Haney from Cox. Hahn has fly to left and walked. Inside, ball 1. Cox coming in a little bit wild to open up this bottom of the 5th. Akron Blues leading this inaugural Summit Seniors Championship 6-3. Got their leadoff runner on via walk, and a base hit left field by Hahn, cut off in left field nicely by Westdorf, holding Paroli at second base. But Hahn goes the opposite way for his first hit of the evening. That'll bring up Rich Rango, their cleanup hitter. He has grounded to short and singled thus far tonight. And as Thomas told you, his past performance in this tournament has been very impressive, and his slugging average is pretty impressive as well. Cox delivers, ball 1, low and inside.
Given the way he hits the ball, I wish we could get all the little leaguers in the area to go out and watch where his right elbow is, and tell all the people that want to tell the kids to get their elbows up. Watch where his elbow is.
Cox bounces one up there. Merrill, nice stop. 2-0. Nobody out. 2 runners aboard. Bottom of the 5th, and the Akron Blues leading Zzano 6-3. Rango might have the green light here, and he takes it high and inside. The throw back to first base. Haney applies the tag, but too late to nail Hahn. 3-0. See if Schoonover gives their cleanup hitter the green light. Cox delivers the 3-0. Strike 1. Rango looks first at Reed, then the Blues dugout in disbelief. Will not change the call. 3-1 the count to Rango. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 to pull the count to full. I think Rango figured after the 3-0 pitch, he's not swinging anything close.
Well, the thing about the Blues is they don't like to walk. I mean, they want to hit the ball. That's what they go up to play for. That's what the bats are made for.
Softball mentality. Pickoff play on and Paroli back. Clemens tried to sneak in behind him.
Well, you know, there are those of us who would debate that with you. I mean, when you play baseball, you play it to hit the ball, not to stand up there and watch 4 balls go by.
Oh, you want to get into an argument here? Is that the full count pitch to Rango? That one, no doubt, ball 4. That loads the bases for Ron DeGrand. You're not going to do it, Giffen. You're not going to prod me into this. What I'm impressed about watching these guys play is the shortcuts. You know what I mean? The fundamentals that they display. Just a lot of savvy out there. It makes up for perhaps a loss of a step or 2. Bases loaded for Ron DeGrand. He is singled and popped to short. Swings and misses at the first offering by Cox. Bases full, nobody out. The 0-1 to DeGrand. Curveball. Check swing. No, did not break his wrists. 1-1 the count. John Sarver on deck. He'll pinch it for Smolinski. DeGrand fouls it straight back. 1-2 the count. The Blues with a chance to break it open here in the bottom of the 5th. Bases loaded, nobody out. A walk to Paroli, Hahn single to left, and another walk to Rango loaded him up for DeGrand. Curveball, rifle down the left field line. It is a fair ball. Kicked up chalk. Paroli will score. Hahn will score. And Rango will pull up at third base. Ron DeGrand. The stand-up double. That one kicked up chalk. Dave Buttermore, the third base umpire, right on it, saw it kick it up, and DeGrand delivers the RBI double. It is now 8-3, the Akron Blues in this championship game.
Lowell catcher Merrill, is that Tim Merrill? Tim Merrill? Tim Merrill is having some fun with the Blues dugout. I don't know if we could pick up on the mic what he was saying. He said, there's too much dust to call that chalk.
You know something? He's got a good point.
Well, those of us have to play on this field and have because of the weather. He's right.
Zzano's manager going out to talk to Cox. They might be discussing putting Sarver on to set up a double play, but I don't know why. They might be just discussing a change. That's what they're going to do. Let's see how they're going to do this. Cox appears to be moving over to first base. Haney, who started this game on the mound for Zzano's, will now move to left. And Westdorf comes in from left field and goes straight to the Zzano's dugout. So we'll take a quick break here and wait for Steve Westdorf to complete his warm-ups. We'll be back. Steve Westdorf now on the mound for Zzano's after Cox comes on, and he got battered around pretty badly. He walked 2, gave up a single and a 2-run double to Ron DeGrand. Westdorf moves in from left field. Haney, the starting pitcher, now in left field. Cox moves to first, and Westdorf will face Sarver, who has gone 2 for 2 in this ball game, plus he has scored a run. Runners on second and third, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2 across already for the Blues. Westdorf wheels and deals, and a long drive to left field, well back. It is off the fence. That will score 2, and Sarver pulls into second base with a stand-up double. 3 for 3 on the afternoon. The double easily scores Rango and DeGrand as the Blues have broken it open in the bottom of the 5th inning with consecutive doubles by DeGrand and Sarver. Gramza now to the plate for the Blues with Sarver in scoring position and nobody out. Sarver came within a foot of a 3-run homer. Strike, fastball across the knees to Gramza. He is 0 for 1, grounded to the third baseman his first trip. Little knuckle curve, bounced slowly to Worm at short. He fires across, got him by his step. Long throw to third, and goes off the glove of Dykema, and scoring easily will be Sarver. Got to give the error to the third baseman Dykema. The throw from Cox was high, but fieldable. We'll see what our official score, Tom Giffen, does on that. Scored 6-3 on the out. Gramza grounds out to Worm. But Sarver scores on the throwing error by Cox. You're heartless. I don't know if that's a knuckle curve or a knuckle ball that Westdorf is trying to float up there to Carl Rakich. Fastball is fouled off down the left side.
That's got a car.
No, it got a tire. Got a tire. Everyone's sitting there hoping there was a foreign car. Rakich has hit the ball hard twice, but no luck. This one, he grounds toward Cox at first base. Nice play. Westdorf covering first for the second out in the inning. A nice play by Cox to erase Rakich. Brings up Jim Wetzel,
Well, we're going to talk about that. I'm gonna talk
who has singled and reached on an error, and he scored in the fourth inning in that 3-run fourth of the Blues. They have scored 5 times rather, thus far in the 5th inning. Westdorf. A little floater, high, ball 1. Fastball bounced toward Cox at first base. He handles it, flips to Westdorf for the 3rd out in the inning. But plenty of damage done by the Blues in the frame.
Good inning.
5 runs on 3 hits. After 5 full innings of play, our score is the Akron Blues 11, Zzano's 3. We move to the top of the 6th inning, and the Akron Blues break it open with a 5-run 5th. They lead it 11-3.
Now, our first hitter is going to be Al Baird, who's a manager of Zzano's, kind of manager, runs it the whole ball of wax, gentleman farmer from Lowell. They play in 2 leagues. They play in an over 30 league, and then they play in an open league. And, I mean, they're playing 3-4 times a week.
They come down here for the, I hope they're a staple of this tournament, because they seem to, obviously they want to win, but they want to have a little bit of fun too. These guys aren't taking it that seriously. As Smolinski delivers ball 1 inside to Al Baird. Baird, one of the Lowell cow pasture products. He's the one who wrote these profiles, so that's allowable. He pops it foul to even the count at 1-1.
John Haney, grab me a Diet Pepsi. Pardon? Diet Pepsi. Okay. Never mind.
Boy, that's good. Yes, sir. That's with a smile. The curveball over for strike 2, 1-2 the count. Smolinski wheels and deals the 1-2 pitch. Low and outside, 2-2. Tony Myers awaits on deck. A little low.
Look good, look good.
Full count. Smolinski looks in. The full count pitch to Baird is hit hard to third, but right at Baker, who fires across. Baird didn't even bother to make it down the line. I mean, Baker had the ball in his glove before he even got out of the box. He hit a shot, but right at Bobby Baker. Brings up Tony Myers. Myers and Piercefield alternating in right field as Smolinski's breaking ball up high. Ball 1. 11-3. The Akron Blues leading the championship game of the Summit Senior Invitational. Inside, Myers moves out of the way.
Top 6.
This one grounded down the third base line, but foul.
I could use a
1-2 the count to Myers.
whatever. I can do either way. I could probably use
Tom Giffen showing absolutely no respect for a hot mic. He's just giving his order inadvertently. These newspaper writers, you know, they have no respect for the electronic media whatsoever.
Hey, we're all out here to have some fun.
You to have a lot of Pepsi. There's a shot up the middle towards second base. Rakich fires across, high throw. Sliding into first base safely is Tony Myers, as Rango couldn't get the tag down in time. So you have to give that a throwing error to Carl Rakich at second base, and Tony Myers hustling on to hustling it for the play at first base. You got to love that. This deep in the game, down 8. He's still going all out. Brings up the pitcher, Steve Westdorp.
Who tripled last time. Scored on a throwing error by the shortstop on the ball coming in.
He is 1 for 2, and low pitch, nice stop by Danny Costel to hold Myers at first. 1 out, 1 on, top of the 6th. Smolinski looks in to the belt, delivers outside. 2-0.
Good job, Frank.
Just a couple step lead by Myers as Smolinski delivers a strike. Fastball across the knees. 2 balls, 1 strike the count. Smolinski in relief of Ron Piekarski. And a little number down the first baseline. He's got a lot of spin on it and dies just outside the first base line. For a moment there, it looked like the spin was going to carry it back into fair territory.
Yeah, and Westdorf still had the bat with him and kept looking over his shoulder to make sure that sucker stayed foul.
Good color commentary. Real good color.
You like that?
Color work is fantastic over here.
Tim McCarver will sleep well tonight. Now, and curveball is hit down the third base line just wide of the bag. Baker tried to knock it down. Tom Giffen, the icon of the Roy Hobbs League in Akron, getting plenty of grief from the fans gathered behind us. It is welcome grief, too, from my point of view.
Hey, you just got to take the source into account since he's not 30 yet.
Oh, my.
Welcome but deserved.
He's not even allowed in the park, is he? Westdorp steps back in and takes it just outside. Smolinski takes a long look in as the count goes to full. Myers, 2-step lead off the bag. Smolinski deals the full count pitch. Baker gets the hot shot to second for 1. The relay to first not in time. But Bobby Baker snagged a hard shot off the bat of Westdorp and turned it into a force out at second base for the second out of the inning. Brings up the center fielder, Jerry Usaz.
Dropped down that nice bunt in the first inning and then grounded to second in the 4th.
11-3. Akron Blues in control. Smolinski fires to first and Westdorf back standing up. And another bunt laid down by Usaz. This one well foul.
It's all ahead.
It's warm. That's cold.
That's his. That's all they have. They didn't have any Pepsi.
Again, Smolinski over to first base and Westdorp back standing.
You're gonna all the hard stuff's gone. You're gonna have to drink the light.
NutraSweet and I don't get along. Another bunt attempt by Usaz. This one barely got metal. Boy, I hate that. Barely got the element on the ball.
Now, the Chicago team had like 4 or 5 wooden bats in their bag, one of which stayed in Akron as one of the Chicago players gave that bat to one of the deaf students down at.
Pitch out, runner goes, and sliding in is Westdorp, and the ball gets by Rakic into center field, and Westdorp will trot to third base on the throwing error by the catcher, Dan Costel. Gotta try and make something happen. You're down 8. I mean, conventional baseball says you don't steal in this situation, but why not? You got to get something to happen. It's deep in the game. You only got 4 outs left.
Well, conventional wisdom also tells you.
Usaz slaps a curve right back to Smolinski, who throws him out for the 3rd out of the inning. No harm done on the error. In the inning for Zzano's, no runs, no hits, 2 errors, and 1 left. After 5.5 innings, the score, the Akron Blues 11, Zzano's 3.
Rolling.
Back at Waterworks Park as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Akron Blues leading Zzano's of Lowell, Michigan, 11-3. Dan Kostel will lead it off for the Blues. And as we were talking before the last out of the inning was made on the steal with 2 outs and down 8. As we mentioned, conventional baseball wisdom says you don't do that, but you feel that might have been an appropriate move.
Well, I'm not sure if it's an appropriate move, but you got to remember this is seniors baseball, and one of the first things that go is your legs. The second thing is your arm, and when it comes to catchers and the fastest runner on the field, maybe, hey, it's a 50-50 coin toss. You got to try and make something happen.
Well, with catchers, you lose both. And John Dixon, our videographer, knows real well when we were working at 23 together, the 3rd thing that goes on a catcher. But we won't go into too much detail. And Kostel rips one to left field to lead off the bottom of the 6th with a base hit. Kostel 2 for 3 on the evening. He has scored twice. A solid shot to left to lead off the bottom of the 6th. That brings up Spencer Nakaguma, who is 1 for 2 on the evening.
Come on, Spence. Wetzel.
The 12th hit of the evening for the Blues. Steve Westdorp, the 3rd pitcher for Zzano's this evening. Short lead by Kostel at first. The first 55-footer delivered by Westdorp, blocked nicely by Merrill, who goes out to Westdorp, and I don't think he's asking him what he's having for dinner. He said, "You make me do that one more time in the 6th inning, I'll kill you." Nakaguma steps back in. Westdorp to the belt, delivers a strike across the inside corner with the fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nakaguma. Westdorp working quickly. Fastball is fouled off to the right side. Westdorp ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a little knuckle comes floating in a little high. Evens the count at 2-2. The 2-2 to Nakaguma's fouled back.
Okay, you lost 2 now. Put 1 out there.
Turned to be a very pleasant evening. It's cooled down just enough. Pretty still. Fastball up way high. Full count on Nakaguma. Top of the order, Bobby Baker awaits on deck. The full count pitch to Nakaguma is lined right up the middle into center field, a base hit. Kostel will make the turn and go to third as the ball gets by Usaz in center field. They will send Kostel in to score. Nakaguma around to third base. Give Nakaguma a base hit. Reaches third on the 2-base error in center field by Jerry Usaz. As Nakaguma and Kostel both with solid shots to open up this bottom of the 6th inning. Brings up the top of the order, Bobby Baker. Excuse me, you really can't fault totally the fielders. The outfield is so dry and so bumpy that the ball is just going to come up on you. There is nothing to really restrict the movement of the ball. It's like the grass is just so dried out from the lack of rain. It's like, as I mentioned before, a pool table. Baker sends one high to center field, and moving over is Uzaz, and he gloves it, but the sacrifice fly will plate Nakaguma for the second run of the evening, or for the second run of the inning, rather. Baker does his job, brings up Buzz Paroli, who is 1 for 2 with a triple and a walk, and 2 runs scored. 13-3. The score now as the Akron Blues have opened it up in the late innings.
Yes, keep going. Keep going.
Going to go the 10-run rule. That's been waived off by Commissioner Giffen in the championship. The knuckle curve floats across too high, ball 1.
We did that in the meeting of the managers before the game.
I thought it was you and your despotic nature coming out again.
There are those that might agree with you on that, but this is not one that I did that with.
Paroli again lets the knuckle curve float by. This one a fastball up too high, and it's 3-0. Sorry. Yes, we are. Paroli takes it straight across for a strike. Paroli almost bit on the high fastball, but checks it and takes the walk. His second free pass on the evening. He's at first with 1 out and 2 runs across thus far in this bottom of the 6th inning for the Akron Blues. 13-3. They lead it in the 6th. And a hard shot to right field, way back and over the head of Myers. Tim Hahn singles to the fence. Paroli moves to third. A solid shot by Hahn. That is his second hit of the night. So Tim Hahn advances Paroli to third base with a solid shot to right field. And Westorp right now has been hit hard in this bottom of the 6th inning. 2 runs have already come across. There's 1 out, 2 runners aboard. Paroli at third, Hahn at first, and the cleanup hitter, Rich Rango. Up on the evening, he is 1 for 2 officially with a walk, a single. He grounded out to the shortstop to lead off the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Go ask Jeannie who's running it first. Jeannie who's running it first.
Rango bounces it foul down the third base line. He's got a courtesy runner at first base. We'll find out who that is. That is Jack Bradford. And Rango delivers a base hit to left field, and Paroli trots home with the 3rd run of the evening. Hahn will stop at second. Rango's 2nd hit of the evening. That'll bring up Ron DeGrand, 2 for 3 on the night. We have another courtesy runner in. Bobby Baker is going to run for Rich Rango. He has enjoyed a whale of a tournament, has Rich Rango. It's been a good year for him. He was just recently inducted in May into the Greater Akron Baseball Hall of Fame. Outstanding career at Kent State and the Akron AA League. Rhonda Grant, another Kent State Golden Flash. Bounces one toward the hole. Third baseman gloves it. And
Good play, good play.
wise move in the base paths by Bradford. After Dykema gloved the ball, he just kind of stopped and trotted backward to lay any force at second base to make sure Baker arrives safely. So Bradford tagged out on the bounce to third by DeGrant. He's at first on the fielder's choice. And Baker, the courtesy runner, stops at second on the fielder's choice. High pop up into short right field. That could be trouble. But Cox, diving, makes the play on the high pop by Sarver to end the inning. But 3 runs across for the Akron Blues on 4 hits. 1 error in the inning, and after 6 full, it is the Akron Blues 14 and Zzano's 3. Top of the 7th inning in this inaugural championship game of the Summit Seniors Invitational. More than likely the last cuts for Zzano's of Lowell, Michigan. Tony Stormzand, 0 for 2 thus far on the evening, leads off 14-3. The Akron Blues leading it. Stormzand has hit into a double play and grounded to short as Smolinski's curveball drops outside. Catcher Phil Merrill awaits on deck as Smolinski wheels and deals, and the ball is punched down the right field line, but foul. Two the count on Stormzand. Smolinski's 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Kostel with the tag out after the drop third strike, but Stormzand offers no resistance except a couple of words toward home plate umpire Ron Reed. Believe it or not, the first strikeout of the evening for either team. Phil Merrill steps in against Smolinski. High inside, ball 1. Smolinski's second pitch down low. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out, top of the 7th. Smolinski's pitch is pounded towards shortstop. High bounce to Paroli, who fires him out. That was Spencer Nakaguma, now playing shortstop. I'm sure Spencer gratefully accepted that gift. That ball was hit hard, but it came up nicely to him, and he was able to easily fire out Merrill. And John Haney, the starting pitcher who has since moved to left field, steps in. He's 0 for 2, flies to left and to center, and he rips one to center field. That'll drop for a base hit, and it gets by the center fielder, and Haney will head to second base. Bradford could not come up with the ball, and that allowed Haney to advance to second. That'll bring up Craig Worm, the shortstop. 1 out left for Zzano's. Haney keeps it alive with a solid shot to center. Just the 6th hit thus far in the evening for Zzano's. Frank Smolinski, who came on in relief by Karski. Strike one on the fastball.
Come on out. Come on out. Come on, David. And we change it here. Here we go.
Haney
Yeah, now, here we go.
off second base. Strike two called on the fastball by Smolinski as Worm just wheels out of the batter's box. Not in agreement whatsoever with the call. Steps back in to face the 0-2 pitch. Smolinski to the belt and fires. High, ball one. The Akron Blues about to wrap up the inaugural Summit Seniors Invitational. Smolinski's curve is pounded over the mound towards short. Nakaguma comes up firing and makes the play to Rango to end the ball game for Zzano's in the top of the seventh. No runs, a hit, one error, one left. The final score, the Akron Blues 14, Zzano's 3.
He is tough. I mean, he's going to keep it running for a minute or two.
All right, Blues.
We better find out. Quick interview. Just get your impressions with Al Baird, the player manager of Zzano's of Lowell, Michigan, and you characterize some of your ball players as just products of the Lowell cow pastures, but evidently the ball quality of baseball is pretty good there. Congratulations on making it to the championship.
Thank you. We do have some fairly decent ball players, we think, at Lowell.
Now, senior baseball is just being introduced into this area, but your team is quite active. You play in a couple of leagues, and obviously you don't mind packing up and traveling to some of these tournaments. Do you foresee senior baseball reaching even more people as the years go on?
Yes, we do. It's very evident that you see it all over the country. Older people are getting back to baseball and enjoying it, having a good time.
Your impressions of this tournament, it's their first attempt at it.
It was a well-run tournament. We had good umpiring. We had good management of the fields, nice fields that we played on. Everybody, I think, had a good time. At least our team did.
Hope to see Lowell as a staple in this tournament in the years to come. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Al Baird, the manager of Lowell, Zzano's from Lowell, Michigan. Now Steve Westdorp, who just did a little bit of everything for Lowell during this tournament. Left field, pitch. Again, your impressions of this tournament. It's the first attempt for the senior leaguer in Summit County to hold such a tournament.
I got to agree with Al Baird. I think it was well run, good officiating, and guys did a good job managing the whole thing.
The competition, how does it compare to what, because you see quite a bit of it up in Michigan, the competition that you saw this weekend compared to what you see on a weekly basis?
I think it's real comparable to, we've got a fairly good league, and there's a bunch of us guys that are playing in several other leagues, and we saw some good ball playing out here.
Do you foresee this type of ball just eventually becoming, not like senior golf, but it's getting a lot more guys involved, almost like the softball was in the early 70s. A lot of people getting involved.
I tell you what, this game's got me hooked. As I can time around. I love it, yeah. I'm having a great time.
Well, I can see why. You were 9 for 15 with 3 home runs and 7 runs scored and 6 RBIs. You had a pretty nice visit to Summit County.
Not a bad weekend.
Wish you could do that every week, right?
There you go.
Steve Westdorf, congratulations. Hope to see you back here next year. Speaking now with Ron Piekarski, the winning pitcher of the victorious Akron Blues, a 14-3 winner over Zzano's of Lowell, Michigan in the inaugural Summit Senior Invitational Championship game. And Ron, you pitched 4 solid innings, and you won 2 of the 5 games that the Blues played in this tournament. And one thing that Tom Giffen and I were talking about at the outset was how important it was not to go out there and try and overpower anybody, but just find the plate. just let them hit the ball?
Now, location is 90% of it, especially you don't have any real great batters, so you can, as long as you get location, they hit it. We just happen to have an outstanding defensive team, and that saves me a lot. So I just throw them over the plate and let our defense come through. Once in a while I break one off and get a strikeout, but otherwise I let the defense handle it.
As early as a couple of years ago, you were very, very impressive in the Akron AA League. I think you won the Garcia Award one of those years. I think it was 89 or 90. That's the highest award you can get in the A-League with those young, flat-bellied 22-year-olds walking around out there. You come to this league. Did you change your style of pitching for this league compared to the AA League?
Something happened. I had an operation 3 years ago, and this is the first year in 15 years I could even throw overhand. And so I've changed a lot of motion and everything else. I've got some speed now. And difference being, in this league, you got some hitters that have been batting for 30 years, and they know when the ball's out of the strike zone and they don't swing at it. And kids are younger, they tend to swing more at balls that aren't in the strike zone, and I could throw them wilder in that league. But the batters in this league, they like to take pitches and make sure it's over the plate. So it's you have to do both ways when you pitch in both leagues. And I'm going to go back into the AA League this summer and see what I can do against some of those teams.
Now, your brother Rudy runs the AA League. Is there a conflict of interest here, huh? I mean, this is getting a little bit bigger and better as the years go on. You're going to try and get your brother into playing this league and maybe get a couple of choice fields? A little bribery.
The people running 30 and over league are doing an excellent job. There's 10 teams this year, and quality teams. The top 5 teams are quality. And it's a lot of fun, and I think there's going to be a lot more teams next year. And my brother does do the AA League, and he does a good job there, too. There's start with 10 class teams this year, and one dropped out, but they're all playing hard out there. And I happen to sponsor one of the teams. They're still undefeated. I don't know what they did today, but they're won the first half undefeated, so we're coming along both ways.
Congratulations on a great tournament.
Thank you.
Ron Piekarski now going to speak with Rich Rango, who was 9 for 13, 3 home runs during this tournament, and it's been a good year for you. You got inducted to the Greater Akron Baseball Hall of Fame in May. You come into this tournament, you hit a home run, you ripped the ball all tournament long, from my understanding. 6 RBIs, you scored 6 runs. Average is up there with 9 for 13. Now, you too had a lot of success in the AA League. I was going to ask Ryan this, I was going to save it for you. Is the intensity level still there in this league, but is it a little bit more relaxed, or it's not as intense as the AA League, and that makes it more fun?
Well, I think the intensity level isn't as high. I think we've all mellowed out from 15 years ago, so I think that has a lot to do with it. Plus the fact I think we're out here with the idea to not get hurt, enjoy ourselves, get back to playing baseball again. And the biggest thing that brought me back out was the scientific invention of the aluminum bat. I mean, I'll tell you what, with these things, these are like rockets. If they had it back then, who knows what we could have done. But and the other thing is the fellas. You know, we all played either against each other or with each other in Akron Insulating, Red Pepper, Eaton Sports Pride back in the late 60s and early 70s. And to get back out and hear the bench talk again and horsing around that we did back then, that's been fun.
Is that what is going to nurture this league and carry it to even bigger and better things, that it's almost like an all-star game every time you play? It's guys that you played with, and now that we've reached the old age of our youth, it's just like going back into those days again at Red Pepper, for instance.
Well, I think that has a lot to do. I know that's a big reason why a lot of us came out to play with everybody again. I think the league, though, I think will be nurtured by individuals coming out and seeing that 43-year-olds or 42-year-olds or 40-year-olds or 35-year-olds can all have a good time and play baseball again. I mean, if I had a choice and someone asked me to play baseball versus softball, it would be baseball. You grew up playing baseball, and I think that's the thing that draws everybody back out at this age.
You surprised you can still swing with as much authority, aluminum bats notwithstanding?
Well, you got to remember one thing. We got 40-year-olds throwing the ball now, too. So the aluminum bat, I think, has a lot to do with it. Yeah, I think I've surprised myself a little bit. I'm hitting the ball a lot better than I thought I would.
Surprised me, too. No,
yeah, really. There's a man that's seen me play before, see? So
defensively, you're over at first base now. Is that a little strange?
Well, in softball, a lot of these guys, Paroli and Rakich and DeGrand and Olson, we play softball one night a week. And when we got Paroli out there, I decided, well, I'm getting too old to play short anyway. I'll go over to first base, so it hasn't been that different.
Okay. Boog. Congratulations, Rich, on a great tournament. That wraps it up from Waterworks Park, where oh, it doesn't wrap it up. We got Rakich? I don't want to talk to Rakich. Get in here. That's finally someone I can look down at. Okay, now Carl Rakich, who... All right, let's get the script ready. The Blues scored 44 runs today. That is a phenomenal amount when you're playing 3 games in a day in 90-degree heat. I don't care if you're the whippy-wristed 22-year-old flat-bellied punk, that's still a lot of runs. Are you surprised at the output?
Well, I was a little surprised after yesterday morning's game. We didn't score any. We knew we needed to score, and from that point on, we've just been ripping the ball. So when we came out this morning and we were hitting it like we did yesterday afternoon, the rest of the day didn't surprise me.
You get shut out by the team that you beat 14-3 earlier in this tournament, 1-0. Did that give you some unnerving moments that maybe it was a team-wide slump?
Not really, because it was such a well-played game and it was such a quick game. Our lineup only got to go through 1.5 times. It was over in an hour and 15 minutes, and we really didn't get loosened up and unleash the attack. Both teams, they had 3 hits, we had 2, and we just didn't get a chance to get on track. So no, I didn't think we were in a slump. I just wish we could have played them 9 yesterday, though.
Something happened during the course of the game that I think is indicative of what makes it important for the rosters to be completely filled. You had a couple of guys go down early with injuries, forced them out of the game. You had to go in. Hoover had to leave. You had to bring someone else in. You had quality substitutes for quality players. Is that the key to winning in this league? Because there are going to be some dings during the course of the year.
Yeah, I think it is, and we're really fortunate. All these guys played together 20, 25 years ago, and we didn't round them up because of the quality, but they just happen to be quality ball players who enjoy playing with each other. And very honestly, we know that anybody that goes in there can play just about any position, and up and down that lineup, they all hit the ball. There's not a weak hitter in that lineup, so it really does help.
Do you feel a team like the Blues winning this tournament with some of the recognizable names that you have, like the Parolis, like Rango, DeGrand, Rakich, Kostel, will get more people interested in this league?
Yeah, I hope so. One of the problems we had, very honestly, Donnie, was that the old ball players tend to think they can't come back and do this. They remember how competitive it was. They remember how tough it was, notwithstanding this tournament. We're not going to tell them what it was like to play 5 games in 2 days. But to play once a week, they're not sure that physically they can do it. And very honestly, psychologically, they're a little bit afraid that they might go out and embarrass themselves. But we're hoping that by seeing the rest of these guys out here next year, we'll have 2 or 3 more teams of the old ball players like this, and it'll just kind of up the quality of play in the league and maybe bolster up some of these other teams and just make it even more fun.
Hope so. You haven't stumbled yet. You're on the right track.
Yeah, we're having a heck of a good time.
Congratulations on a great tournament.
Thank you.
Let's get the brains of the operation in here. Dick Schoonover. Congratulations. Why don't you move on over here? 2 minutes? Okay. As mentioned, Dick Schoonover, the manager of the Akron Blues, the 14-3 winners in the inaugural championship game of the Summit Seniors Invitational. They might be 30 and over and some 40 and over, but this game keeps you young.
It sure does. I'm sure that about everything has been said that we could say about the tournament we just played in. It was just great, and we were glad to be here. And after the first loss, we came back and put it all together.
How do you react to games like this? I know everyone wants to keep a low-key approach to this, but is it tough to keep the juices not flowing too strongly?
I don't think that you can stop the juices from flowing. The adrenaline starts to flow as soon as somebody gets a hit or somebody gets a strikeout, and it all starts, and I don't think it'll ever end.
Do you have to change your thinking from a managerial position because you might not be able to do hit and run, you might not be able to steal as much as you like? Does it change your thinking? Have you altered your strategic strategy into this league as other teams.
It really does, because we don't have a sliding sign, because you don't know who can slide and who can't. So we just let them, the ones that can run, we let them run. And, you know, they all have jobs, and we can't take a chance of spraining ankles or hurting knees. And the hit and run, we just try to stay out of an out, because our guys aren't running as fast as they used to. So if we can bunt or put the ball down or hit and run, we got a good chance not to have a force play.
How tough is it going to be to keep this team together?
Well, I think it's really, this Roy Hobbs thing is going to catch on and get big. We just need to get some fields. If we could use Kent and Akron U, I think it'd be wonderful, because the guys coming in from out of town have played on better fields than we had to play on today. And that's what they're looking forward to. At Akron U, it was just great.
Well, congratulations. So are the Akron Blues today.
Thank you.
That wraps it up from Waterworks Park. For Tom Giffen, I'm Don Ursetti. Nice jump there, Dix. Jeez, what a putz.